This is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I have a sketch for you guys from the Sketch and Scrap Monthly Challenge. This is the number 3 challenge for October. I am using this autumn kit from Echo Park, and I love this kit. I don't know what it is about it. It's just amazing colors, and I have used almost everything on the sticker sheet. I just love it. I actually was at Tuesday Morning the other day and was able to find a 12 by 12 chipboard sheet. So I was super excited about that because I'm almost out of stickers and I have quite a bit of paper left. So now I can continue to use it. I know that I could probably put it in with another kit from Echo Park because their fall lines tend to be very similar, but all of the creatures on this with the owl and the bears and the mushrooms, everything about it is just so cute and I love it. So I'm looking through all of the pattern paper trying to figure out what I can use as my strip for the top and the bottom, that dark blue as well as that kind of gray color in the sketch. Now, the extra, to get extra points or to have an extra part of it is you have to use plaid on this paper. And that diagonal stripe, it reads plaid to me. I know plaid is usually vertical and horizontal, but in this, because it's diagonal, it's not really a traditional plaid, but I like it. So I wanted to go ahead and use that. If I get the extra points, that's fine. If not, I'm okay with that too. I just really like the way that light colored plaid and that dark brown with the flowers on it contrast each other. I also pulled out this paper that has different words on it. It says cocoa and the chill is in the air, the leaves are falling. That's at the bottom with the orange piece behind it to mimic the piece in the sketch. So I used Rusty Hinge to ink all of my edges, and I decided to go ahead and round the edges of the far left-hand side of the paper. It doesn't call for that in the sketch, but I feel like it gives it a finishing touch. And I know a lot of folks have moved away from rounding quarters, and I don't see a lot of that, but every once in a while I like to pull that tool out and use it again. I feel like sometimes we go through these stages of using a product, and if you look through your albums, especially if you scrap in chronological order, everything has that. So I remember a time when every layout that I had, every piece of paper was rounded, and then we kind of moved away from that, went back to our squares, so now I like to pull it in the same way that I pull in stitching or other elements that I used a long time ago. Right now I feel like enamel dots are huge. A lot of folks are using enamel dots and spray mist. So I think that in a couple years when we're scrapbooking, those are going to be the things that we look back on and say, yep, that was when spray mist or enamel dots were huge, and they are on all of our layouts. I went ahead and kind of finished up the base page for the left side and then realized that I should have been doing the right side along with it. So this is where you'll see me cut out the pieces. I did skip through a lot of that because you guys have obviously seen it on the left-hand side of the paper. I did cut that dark brown piece of paper a little bit bigger than what I plan to use it as, because I wanted it to give the look that that brown piece was a continuous piece and it was behind the plaid, as opposed to it just being butting up against the top and bottom of the plaid. And so that's a different way for you to get a different look in your layouts. So sometimes I will butt them right up against each other and maybe use washi tape to cover it up, and then other times I like to tuck it behind. So on the right side of the layout, I decided to add the 3 photos going down the middle of the page, and then I have another 4x6 photo that was on the far right hand side. And instead of cutting off that pattern paper at like an inch behind the brown piece, I went ahead and extended it all the way across the layout, and I really like the way that that's a difference from the left side of the layout. I felt like my photos needed some type of break, so I had these strips of paper in the diagonal stripes that were just laying. I actually had just one of them that I had trimmed off, and so I was like, oh, I like the way that looks, and I went ahead and cut another one to add to the left side as well. These photos are of my friend when they went to the Bradley County Fair, and this was in November of 2013. I've had these for a while, and our fairs are usually in the summer down here in Florida, and she lives in Arkansas. So I had these actually photos to scrap in the summertime, and then I don't know, for some reason I pulled it out and I saw her scarf, and I was like, as well as the kids in pants and longer clothes. So I thought, wait a minute, maybe it's not in summer. And then I pulled out the day of the picture, and I was like, oh, this is perfect to be able to use with my fall lines. So I went ahead and added that bear, and he is pointing to the left, but he's also looking straight ahead. So I felt like it was okay to have him right there on the end of that little cluster there with where the flower is in the sketch. And then I just kind of built up that area. I have the rub-ons. They're not the greatest. Again, the rub-ons that we have today are definitely not the rub-ons that we had before, but I was able to get that flower piece to come out really nicely. I do add this word thankful, and it doesn't come out so well. So I end up covering it up with a sticker that says thankful, so it still has the same type of sentiment there. I also think that it's because it's too dark. The thankful sticker that I'm going to add has that white border behind it, and it really makes it pop next to that bear. I also cut out a round reef and stuck it underneath the photo on the far left, and then I added a acorn and a little flower to the cluster up there on the left. I started the cluster on the right. I just started with this banner, and then I decided I would go ahead and work on another cluster. So I actually have 4 clusters on this layout, but I feel like the 2 clusters on the right side are close enough to each other and similar enough to each other that it's okay to have that many. It kind of draws your eyes to the far right over the photos so that you can see those 2 clusters. And so this is where I add the thankful, and I had to move around the acorn and that little flower around the word thankful. On the far right, I have that jar with the mushrooms in it, which is super cute. I added that yellow flower as well as another little brown flower. And then I use the other part of that reef to tuck in underneath that photo on the right. I use these chipboard stickers here, and they are the stucco, I think is what they're called, not thickers, but it's the same similarity. It's a chipboard sticker, very similar to the thicker brand. I pulled out my white block letters from Freckled Fawn and added the word county so that you have that distinguish between the title itself. For some reason, I'm really into using multiple fonts in the titles right now. I actually just finished a layout, which you guys will see here probably in the next week or so, that has 4 different styles of font in it in the title. The title's pretty big, but it's it's definitely a thing for me right now, using those multiple letter fonts and different stickers to create my title. So now I'm going to add some enamel shapes to the clusters, and I felt like that white block letters that spelled out the word county were really white. This layout has both cream and white in it. The plaid paper is stark white, but then that paper underneath the word fair where it has all of the words on it, that's a cream color. So I felt like I needed some more white, and that's why I added those white enamel hearts. And then I also added like a mustard color as well as a brown in the enamel dots to fill in each one of those clusters. So that is it for me. I will post below the link to this Facebook group so that you guys can check it out. It is the last day of the month, so unfortunately you won't be able to enter any of their challenges for October, but they'll have lots of new challenges starting in November, so you guys can check those out. Also, make sure that you check out below. I have all of the supplies that I've used, or the main supplies that I've used, listed below. So if you wanted to pick up any of those supplies, you can do that with the links below. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.